Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome back to TechNodeFirmaCraft. So I've been doing some additional work on the terracing here inside of the base, and I think it's starting to actually look really good. Now up here on the top layer we can see there's a taller section. Now what I ended up with here, there was a cliff, and it needed to actually go 2 heights. Instead of just going up by 3 blocks, it needed to go up by 6 in order to make that work. So I have multi-tiered terracing here, and I think that's going to look pretty cool when it's all said and done. Now this area here, I have not yet decided what I want to do with it, but I think one thing that I could do is plant the fruit trees that we didn't get planted this year, which was a big mistake on my part, because we are at a point now where harvests will be coming in and we have no fruit to make vinegar. So that is a big problem. And also we are just about out of vinegar for making cheese as well. So yeah, I made a mistake on that, not planting the fruit trees. But I think this would be a good spot for that. It would also make it look kind of interesting having the little trees here. So I don't know, we'll have to see how that goes. Let me know what you guys think. Now another thing, I got a comment about how bland the inside of my wall looks, and this was just kind of as a filler to let me know how big the wall is supposed to be. That's part of the reason why I didn't fill this space here. I actually want the wall to be 3 blocks wide. And so up here on the top I have started working on changing the way the inside of the wall looks, and I did a fair amount of experimentation, and I think I finally settled on this one. I really like the look of this. So it's got some vertical half slabs thanks to carpenter's blocks, some stairs, and then some just full blocks up there. But then we also have half slabs and stairs and vertical half slabs of the regular sandy blocks, whereas these are the sandy bricks, and I think it gives a nice depth contrast, a nice texture contrast, and then with the what is this, dolomite mud bricks in the background, it gives a very nice color contrast. So really I like the look of that, and I will probably be applying that to the inside of the entire wall, which does mean, yes, this rhyolite brick facade here will be pulled off to expose the dolomite mud bricks underneath. But the other thing is I intend to have paths going along the entire face of the wall. Originally the thought was that I was going to put buildings up against the wall, and so it was less of a concern of what the inside of the wall looked like. Now I'm not going to be doing that anymore. So got to come up with a more unique idea, and also that kind of helps tie together the terracing with the walls. So I think that's nice. Now the next thing I've got to do is start on my regular harvests here, because, well, we've got a lot of stuff that's really close to harvest. We've got our potatoes in the 70% range, soybeans in the 85, tomatoes in the 85, and then our grains at various stages close to 70. But over here on the end, we have a whole bunch of mature crops. So our green beans are getting close, but not quite there. Our red peppers are mature. Yellow peppers are mature. Yeah, yellow peppers. Squash is not there yet, neither is cabbage, but the carrots are mature and the garlic is almost mature. So we have a lot of vegetables going to be coming in right now. And also, if I look at the date, it is early autumn. We're just a couple of days into early autumn, so I think it might be a good idea to head up north. Is that north? Yeah. Head up north with the boat and stop by all of those fruit trees that I have marked if we go over here to plants. So if we head up here to all of the fruit trees that are marked off, and I don't remember which ones we'll be able to get right away, but I believe we can get like olives and maybe oranges at this time of the year. I don't recall, but I know that olives Oh, plums. Plums is one that we can get this time of the year. Or maybe that's the late summer one. I don't remember. But we'll need to head up here and harvest those little bits of fruit so that we can make some vinegar. Now, I do have a lot of olives left from last year's harvest, but we're going to need a lot of vinegar because even though the cellar is working good, I still feel that it's a bit too cheaty, and I want to be pickling my food. So, yeah, I'm going to harvest up all of this stuff, head up north and harvest what fruit I can get right now, and then I'll come back and maybe we'll look at setting up some type of a pickling area. Well, I am up here grabbing various fruits in the northern area of the map, and I happened to see this on the side of one of these mountains. Now, this is saltpeter, and that is, it's used for making gunpowder. But that one there is not the one that is valuable to me. The one that is valuable to me is this one right here. Rich osmium. So we need osmium for mechanism, and I'm actually looking at the fact that we are going to need to get into mechanism in this episode at least a little bit. Because what we need to do is make this metallurgic infuser. Now this thing takes an osmium ingot to make. It also takes 2 blast furnace bricks and some steel and redstone. So this thing is not exactly cheap, but it will allow us to make another item that we need very desperately to be able to do our pickling. And that is the mechanism bin. And right here is where those are. The basic bin requires a basic control circuit, and that needs the metallurgic infuser with osmium and redstone. So this osmium is going to be invaluable for that, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break from collecting the food while I grab up some of this osmium, because I need at least a little bit of it, and I haven't gotten pretty much any yet. So yeah, I am going to mine here for just a little bit, continue collecting fruit, and then I'll meet you guys back at the base. Well, this seems a little bit odd. I always thought that breaking farmland in TerraFirmaCraft didn't give you the dirt block back, but oddly enough, this is giving me the dirt block back. So this was the industrial hemp farm, and decided it was time to remove it, and I was thinking I was going to have to use a whole bunch of dirt to fill it back in, and I'm getting all my dirt back. So that's making me wonder if I'll get the dirt back from the garden out here, or if it has something to do with the nutrient levels in the dirt. I don't know for sure, and we'll find out a little later. But so one thing that I am doing currently is running some more stuff through the bloomery to get more iron ingots. Now, like I showed in a previous clip, we are going to be getting into mechanism today, but in order to do that, we need to make a couple more of our TerraFirmaCraft blast furnace blocks. And to do that, we need 8 wrought iron double sheets each. Each one of those is 32 ingots of iron, so we need a lot of iron. Now currently I have 4 of them made. I have 1 wrought iron sheet made up as well, but yeah, I've got some bloomery work to do. So I did set up the bloomery here again, and it's just kind of temporarily set up here. We're going to be setting up a spot for blacksmithing here very soon, and that's part of the reason why I was removing this. It is time to start actually laying out where buildings are going to be within the base. So that is where I'm at currently. I still, like I said, I still have this to take care of. I'll probably have to even make another one of these iron blooms. So if you don't know, it takes half a stack of charcoal, half a stack of charcoal and a stack and a half of piles for a full-sized bloomery. So yeah, just a refresher, fill the bottom with charcoal and then drop 24 charcoal and 24 ore of any size, the piles being the best, into the top. And one of my pieces of charcoal flew out. There we go. So once you've got that done, all that you have to do is hit the bloomery block itself with a fire starter or flint and steel. And there we go. We've got 14 hours remaining on that. And we still have half a stack of charcoal left. Now, the last thing that we have that I'm going to show you before I take a break again is the osmium ingots. So we do have to run these through the blast furnace, but we can take an osmium pile and drop that here into the blast furnace, and it will use 2 of these mini charcoal to make 1 ingot. Now, fairly soon we will be getting ore doubling, and shortly after that we will be getting ore tripling. So that system right there of using the blast furnace will become obsolete quite quickly, but I have a lot of work to do here yet, working down these iron blooms. I'm basically going to refine them and split them on the anvil and then run them through the Railcraft rolling machine. Now, of course, to do that, we have to put our hopper up on top of here, and eventually someday I will be getting more hoppers, just not yet. So yeah, got a lot of work to take care of, and I'll be back after a little bit. Well, I think I've got some stuff set up to go for a little while, but I figured we would go back to the quest book here now, and I noticed that we have a quest with an unclaimed reward. And that is in the casting age, and that is for the bed. Now, I thought that I had claimed this reward, but I guess not. So this is going to give us a piece of wool cloth. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. And we have 1 quest left here in the casting age, and that is the energetic coke. Now, I still haven't really experimented on how to make that stuff, but I think that'll be kind of interesting. I'm going to drop this cloth off here. And so the next thing, we need to get into the Railcraft and Immersive Engineering section. So to continue on in this section of the quest book, we need to make our engineer's manual. Seriously, read the manual. It has all the info. Read it! It's a manual, a very good manual. So we need to make the engineer's manual. That is a very simple thing to make. We just need a book and a lever. So there we go, there is our engineer's manual, and we'll go ahead and grab this. We get industrial hemp seeds. Like we really need those. We have almost a full barrel of industrial hemp seeds. We have 25 stacks. Currently quite a bit of industrial hemp seeds, but let's go ahead and see what's next then. So now we have It's Hemp, and this one's completed. Hemp for days, industrial style. Industrial hemp is important resource. I believe that should be industrial hemp is an important resource for immersive engineering and the pack. You won't find the seeds by punching grass. You'll have to find and kill some folks on grass with the munchies. Really? So we needed to get 1 industrial hemp seed and 1 industrial hemp fiber. Pretty simple, 8 more industrial hemp seeds. So, here we go. So, next up, we need to make yo hammer. Don't hurt them. Every tool is a hammer. The gateway tool to immersive engineering, we need to make the engineer's hammer. Now, to make the engineer's hammer, we need 2 black steel hammerheads, a rope, and some treated sticks. The treated sticks are just our treated wood planks with a saw. So we had everything. I had to make up a couple of hammers, and so here we go. Engineer's hammer. So there's that one, and we'll get a common shader grab bag for this. I really don't care about those too much, but whatever. So the next quest, we need to either get into the better blast furnace, better coke, more power, I Crush Your Head, which is the Railcraft Rock Crusher, and Automating Steel, that one's already done. So, yeah, now we are kind of at a standstill here. We could do the water from everywhere, or water everywhere, if we wanted to with this resin, but we'll worry about that at another time, because we want to get a little bit of immersive engineering stuff done here. So I have a few recipes set up here. The first one is actually an immersive engineering recipe, not mechanism. So we have a low voltage capacitor. Now this is part of the reason why I made the engineer's hammer. This low voltage capacitor will store energy from our clockwork engines and be available for use at any given time. Now the engineer's hammer can change whether a side is an input or output. Now this particular block has no user interface, so the only way to change it is with the hammer. So if we right click on a face, it will change it from blue, which is input, to orange, which is output, to nothing. Now if we shift right click on a side, we can see looking at the back side of this, it is nothing. If we shift right click on it, now the back side is input. So that is really handy that you don't have to break the blocks to set them up. But so what we want to do is remove our rolling machine and put this low voltage capacitor in its place. Now this side is currently set for output, so we want this to be input. We're going to remove this chest and this guy, and yeah, we'll seal this up and move it because it's just kind of in the way. So let's go ahead and just set this right there. It looks good. So now if we hit this one twice, now this one should be for input, this one should be for input, and then we are going to set an, whoops, okay, is that input? Okay, so now this one we're going to set for output, and this one we are going to set for output. So what we will do is drop our rolling machine back here, and we have another recipe to make. So we have our blast furnaces. I made the 16 wrought iron double sheets that I needed and 2 crucibles. So here we go, 2 of those. We put that into this recipe with steel, redstone, and osmium, and we get our metallurgic infuser. So here is our first mechanism machine. And you can see we are gaining power for it because the engines had power in them. Now we can see our capacitor has 5,662 RF out of 100,000, so we don't have a lot, but we do have some. Now what we want to do is drop in 1 piece of redstone, which is going to give us 10 redstone in here. Very inefficient. We will make that a lot more efficient later, but adding that to an osmium ingot will give us the control circuit that we want. Now what we want that for is the bin. The mechanism bin, and this is a very handy block. So, okay, just glitched out. So this block will grab a little bit of cobblestone, I guess, andesite. So what we need here is, think this. How does this thing work again? Okay, these 2 are supposed to be redstone. I knew I needed that redstone for something, but now we have a basic bin. So this bin will hold a huge amount of material, but when we pick it up, whoops, as long as we pick it up from the right side, it will hold the items, and it will even tell us how many are in it. So we have 27 of 4,096 items in this bin right now. Now what I want to see if it will work is these guys here. So we need to bring a lot of seawater, salt water, up here to the base. So what I want to do, looks like the moon is just coming up, so let's go ahead and sleep before we do this. But we're going to head down to the bay via our paths and fill a few of these maple barrels with salt water. Now, they should all have the same NBT data because they're all the same type of barrel. They will all be completely filled, and they will all have the same item in them. So I'm hoping they will be able to go into this basic bin, and I will be able to bring a huge amount of them back, because otherwise I have to make this trip with one barrel at a time, which, of course, is not exactly a fun thing to have to do. So I'm going to set this bin down right here, and I'm going to grab some of these maple barrels. Now, of course, we will be overburdened right away, but if we put this in there, can we put another one in? No. Are you kidding? Well, I can carry two of them at least, because one will go onto my back slot. But still, that sucks. Big time. How am I... What? Stop it! How am I still overburdened? Wait. Did it put an empty barrel in there? What is going on here? How do I have three? It pulled the one off my back. I see. But I need to get a lot of salt water up there, and I was hoping this would work. Darn it. Well, that kind of sucks. So I guess... Oh, wait. Let's try this. I doubt it's going to work, because I don't know if these barrels will go into a hopper. But let's try this. Okay, they will go in there, but it won't go into here. So if we put that... Aha! Ha ha ha! It does work. Sort of? Maybe? Why you no work? What's different about you? Okay. That's salt water. I'm confused. Okay, so that one is /6. And that one's /6. What's the difference? Why are you not work? What? Why you no work? I don't get it. Well, I will see how many I can get in here. Apparently there's something that goofs up. So maybe I need it to go into my back slot first. You got me. There's something about this barrel. It doesn't like it. Whatever. So I guess that one might be the one that goes on my back slot. But yeah, I gotta get tons of salt water down to the base to make brine. And then I will go ahead and we'll work on vinegar and pickling. So I have been doing a little bit of work here trying to prepare for pickling a lot of the vegetables that we will be getting from the garden. And so I have this huge array of barrels here now. Most of these are already set up with an alcohol product being produced. We are either producing vodka or corn whiskey in these in most cases. But the first few have already produced vodka, and I have put oranges in them from last year's harvest to make vinegar. Now, it takes 100 ounces of fruit to turn alcohol into vinegar, so we need tons of fruit production. And this is something that I knew that I needed, but I totally spaced it off. So we are going to need to set up a huge amount of space for fruit production. And I was kind of looking around the area on the map, and there are two locations that I think would be useful for this, and I might use them both, putting like an apple orchard in one place and some other type of fruit in another. But this area over here is a fairly broad, flat area that I think would work quite nicely for a smaller fruit orchard. This, and then on the opposite side over here. Not the best in the world, but it will work. The other one is up here on top next to the wall. And if I can get over here, this area is much larger and almost perfectly flat. It would take very little to level off. So this area here is quite large and very little in the way of anything going on. What is... How have I never seen that before? I have run over this spot so many times it's not even funny. And I've never seen that before. How? Huh, weird. But so, yeah, I think I might be doing both of those. I had thought about possibly putting the orchard up the sides of hills, but that just makes things difficult to harvest, and yeah, there's no reason for that. So I am going to have to do that, but I think I will save that for a little bit later on in the series, and I might even do it between episodes. So just so you guys know, now it looks like the green beans are now mature, which they weren't just a little bit ago. And we're getting really close on the grains too, all except for the corn. The corn still has a ways to go. However, the soybeans are really close too. That is all good. But so we do have the vinegar being produced. I have this block of salt water. Now, for some reason, when I was breaking the barrels, some of them disappeared, and I think they may have fallen down into the water, which is rather annoying, but I'm 3 barrels short here. I don't know what happened. And then this is one that was left over from before. But after we get the vinegar, I think I've explained this before in this playthrough, we will add 1 bucket of vinegar to 9 buckets of salt water. That will make brine. Then we have to brine our vegetables. After they are brined, then we put them in a barrel of vinegar, and I believe it's 1 millibucket per ounce now on the... Yeah, 1 millibucket per ounce on pickling now. These are some pickled carrots that I made fairly early on. You can see this one has a little bit of decay, and this decay is actually increasing. So we still get a little bit of decay in the pickled form, which is odd because I always thought that there was no decay in the pickled form stored in vinegar. So it's not foolproof, but it will make the food last a lot longer. But so we should be getting some vinegar here really soon. I'll be able to continue on with turning this into brine and then making some pickled foods. Now I am going to try this time around cooking the food on fire pit before I pickle it. So if we grab, well, let's grab some cabbage, why not? So we'll remove our decay, and yeah, whatever, we'll just go with these 2 stacks. So we can put these onto our grill and then cook that. So what I want to do is grab a piece of wood that is not too critical, this one. And I guess I need something to light that with. Let's go ahead and grab the flint and steel. I'm getting hungry. So we light this, and this will slowly cook just like any other food. Now what I understand is cooking reduces the spoilage rate of food. So I want to see exactly what this does, but we will cook it until it's hot, I think is all the higher we want to go. And then we will try pickling it and see what happens. Well, I just love this game sometimes. So I had a tornado come through right through here, and it destroyed a whole bunch of my fences, let my animals out of their pens, took a whole bunch of leaves off of the trees over here. Thankfully, it didn't really seem to do anything else. But, come on. That's ridiculous. Because the tornadoes are only ever focused right above where you're at. So if you spend a lot of time at your base, it's gonna get destroyed. That's just annoying. So I have to fix this now, which is wonderful. But I have 4 barrels or 8 barrels over here that have some cooked and pickled carrots and cooked and pickled cabbage. So this is pretty nice. We have a little bit of food over here that is pickled and ready to go. I need to move the carrots that I have over there over here as well. and then I need to continue on with the pickling process on the other foods. But right now it looks like I have a bunch of stuff to fix and drag animals around and things like that. And I think I'm out of time for the episode anyway, so I'm going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any thoughts about what I've been working on or something that you'd like to see, be sure to leave that down in the comments. And I will see you next time. Bye.